Hello there, my friends. Welcome to our Thursday night. It's the Kyle Seraphin Show, Locals Channel call-in opportunity show, whatever we want to call it. You guys can call in. The studio is available for your calls. The studio line is now open. If you want to find it, you can go to rumble.com/Kyle Seraphin. It is the pinned post in our live chat. I like that I'm watching over on the on YouTube and on the other channels we run, and it's all available. Like it keeps like recycling the same exact link, which is to True Social for some reason. I just posted it over on all the other channels too. So if you guys want to find it, you can see the Locals post. You got to be a subscriber if you want to talk to us. That's why we do the show. It's sponsored by you, our listeners. And that is a long ass intro. There's no way around it. A lot of stuff going on in the world right now. Apparently we had the Epstein files released, except that we didn't. Sounds like it was a bunch of redacted nonsense. Sounds like we got a bunch of influencers at the White House. How interesting. I'm sure they're going to put their live streams up, going through their garbage. Pretty disappointing. The only person I see reporting on it, honestly, seems to be Nick Sorter. I mean, obviously, there's like plenty of people that didn't show up, but he seems to be the only one who's getting kind of an honest take on it. And he's just discussing the fact that there's just nothing new there, people. What do you do with that, huh? All right, so let's start with a couple of feeder topics, and I'm going to start with the long video of Jim Comey to get us on the line here. The background is what is happening in the FBI right now is an internal civil war. If you guys don't realize this, I saw Glenn Beck talking about it today. I got some feedback on it from people. It is just a battle, but it might be the most important battle. I want you to consider that the first couple weeks with Patel, I haven't seen that Bongino's there, but I assume he is. The first couple weeks on the ground there is like trying to take the beach at Normandy. If you don't grab some dry land, you are not going to have a position to fight from. There are plenty of people inside the FBI that want to see Patel successful. There are plenty of people that are not going to be reticent or resistant to what they're trying to accomplish. But this is a really important period of time. And man, it's not going the way you guys might want it to be. At least not from what I'm hearing. The fact that the other team even has a chance, that the status quo FBI, that the intelligence cadre FBI thinks that they are even in the running is not good. They should be completely demoralized because they've been doing the wrong thing for a long time. And so with that as our kind of opening thought, I'm going to play, is this Jim Comey? Man, we're going to play some Jim Comey just to kind of get nauseated. And the phone line is open. Again, I will send it out there in the Locals chat, which is now restricted to only subscribers. If you guys want to find it over there, if you can't find it, otherwise it's in the show description on YouTube. It is in the show description on Rumble. You can just click right through if you want to be part of the team here. All right, let's get a little taste of something that's kind of nauseating. My old boss.
All right, and then there is, I've left for last, the worst misconduct. In August of 2016, just 2 weeks into the investigation, the CIA tells the FBI that it actually has a relationship with Carter Page, that when he has these meetings with the Russians, he actually goes back and he tells the CIA about it. But you never tell the FISA court that. And in fact, in 2017, an FBI lawyer doctors a document. The CIA said, oh, Carter Page, he's a source. And he puts in the application, he's not a source.
Yeah, I got to take issue with I'll answer the question, but one of the predications of your question, the Inspector General did not find misconduct by any FBI people. He found mistakes and negligence and oversight.
No, that's not true. In the case of Kevin Kleinsmith, he has referred it for a criminal investigation.
Right, but that's not been resolved. This business with the lawyer changing some email to a partner on the team.
I mean, you make it sound like it's not much.
It's very important. It's very important.
I mean, not a source to not a source is a big deal.
Remember how we got here. The FBI was accused of criminal misconduct. Remember, I was going to jail, and lots of other people were going to jail. People on this network said it over and over and over again. The Inspector General did not find misconduct by FBI personnel, did not find political bias, did not find illegal conduct. Inspector General found significant mistakes, and that is not something to sneeze at. That's really important. But the American people, especially your viewers, need to realize they were given false information about the FBI. It's honest, it is not political, it is flawed.
Would you agree that the FISA court was also given false information by the FBI?
I think that's fair. The FBI should have included, or at least pushed to the lawyers so they could make a decision, information that you just said, things like that, that another agency had not a source relationship, but some kind of contact relationship.
Okay. I want to get to three last questions. Okay. And one of them has to do with how serious what this is. You've talked a lot about mistakes or sloppiness. Horowitz concludes 3 separate teams made significant errors in 4 separate FISA applications on one of the FBI's most significant cases. I mean, the investigation of President Trump and his campaign.
He was Trump. I have to keep correcting you. President Trump was not being investigated. His campaign was not being investigated. 4 Americans, 2 of whom were no longer associated with the campaign, were being investigated.
Okay. He was asked how he explains it. Horowitz, here he is.
It's unclear what the motivations were. On the one hand, gross incompetence, negligence. On the other hand, intentionality.
Gross negligence, or they intended to do it. They intended to lie to the FISA court. You were in charge during a lot of this, sir. And in fact, you signed the FISA applications.
Sure. I think I signed at least 2 or 3 of them. He doesn't conclude that there was intentional misconduct by these career special agents.
No, he just says it's one of 2 things and he can't decide. Gross negligence or it was intentional misconduct. Well, that's what he said.
I've read his report. He says, we are not concluding that there was intentional misconduct by FBI.
Did you hear what he just said here?
I did. I don't know the context of that. I've read.
He was asked specifically, how do you explain it? And he said gross negligence or intentionality.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. He doesn't find intentionality, but that doesn't make it any less important. As director, you are responsible for this. I was responsible for this, and if I were still there, I'd be doing what Chris Wray is doing, is figuring out, so how did this happen, and is it systemic? Because that's the scariest thought.
If you were still there, and all of this came out, and it turned out it happened on your watch, would you resign?
No, I don't think so. There were mistakes I consider more consequential than this during my tenure, and the important thing is to be transparent about it, and then look to fix it and explain to the American people how you fix it.
A couple of final questions. As you know, Attorney General Barr has been harshly critical of how the FBI conducted this entire operation. Here's how he reacted to the IG's findings of whatever you want to call it in the handling of the FISA applications.
These irregularities, these misstatements, these omissions were not satisfactorily explained. And I think that leaves open the possibility to infer bad faith.
Given the repeated errors, some would say abuses of the FISA process, does Attorney General Barr have a point?
No. He does not have a factual basis as the Attorney General of the United States to be speculating that agents acted in bad faith. The facts just aren't there. Full stop. That doesn't make it any less consequential, any less important, but that's an irresponsible statement.
Finally, here's President Trump, and there's how he reacted to the IG report on the FBI investigation.
They've destroyed the lives of people that were great people, that are still great people. Their lives have been destroyed by scum, okay, by scum.
I'd like your response to that, and I'd like you specifically, because you said the other day, where does former FBI lawyer Lisa Page go to get her reputation back? Where does Carter Page go, the target of these FISA warrants and surveillance? Where does he go to get his reputation back?
It's a great question. Carter Page was treated unfairly, most significantly by his name being made public. He's a United States citizen, and it never should have been made public, and that's an outrage. But that statement is just a continuation of the lies about the FBI. The FBI is an honest, apolitical organization. Remember the treason, remember the spying, remember all of us going to jail. That was false information that your viewers and millions of others were given. My own mother-in-law was worried I was going to jail. I kept telling her, look, it's all made up. It's all made up. Don't worry about it. But I couldn't say that publicly for 2 years. Well, now I'm saying it on behalf of the FBI. It was all made up. And I hope people will stare at that and learn about what the FBI is like. Human and flawed, but deeply committed to trying to do the right thing.
Director
Deeply committed to trying to do the right thing. What he meant to say was deeply committed to protecting the FBI, and that the number one sin in the FBI is embarrassing the FBI. Yeah. That's not going to be news to you guys, but man, what a lying sack of shit that guy is, huh? Like how else can you say it? There's no other way around it. So we're gonna have our first call jump on the line here. So there it is. You guys are done listening to Jim Comey, and that's fine. When I see Garrett O'Boyle jump on, I will bring him onto the program. But until then, I got a caller on the line, and who are we talking to?
Hey, what's up there, Carl? This is Renzo.
Mr. Renzo, how you doing, my friend?
How you doing? It's so that clip that you just played. It like pisses me off. Just watching it again. Like this guy's a weasel.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, like he's like, yeah, it's messed up that his name was made public. Well, you guys made his name public. You guys screwed him, and he's like, but that doesn't mean he did anything wrong.
The best was that he said, look, the investigation was into a couple of American citizens, but they are no longer with the campaign, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't mention the fact that they two-hopped their way into everybody that was in their circle and the people that were in that circle as well. So they made it all the way into the campaign. They can stay there.
Yeah. Do you think the fact that there are media reports out there now that they're looking into him, because
I think so. Look, they said you can't run a honeypot operation. As far like I said, my buddies out there were laughing about it when they read the story. They were like, "Oh, we didn't know that was an option. Who knew that honeypot was an option? What a cool thing! It's a really useful technique, I didn't know that was an option.
I thought that was entrapment.
It's kind of what it's used for, right? It's certainly used for intel. But it's not used for criminal investigations. It's certainly not an option. Like, I didn't know the FBI could go commission people to go appear sexually available. Look, I went to the same academy everyone else did, so that was news to me, and it's pretty funny and it's pretty wild.
But it does fit the fact that they would have a chat that would be called TSP.
Yes, it does. A group of people that are that sexually focused while they're at work.
A honeypot operation would seem like a very opportunity for them to get advancement and experience.
It's a solid option, I guess. I don't know what's going to end up happening to this guy too, by the way, because I have not seen people at that level be held accountable this far after the fact. I like that his mother-in-law was worried too. You're seeing this on the screen, which is kind of funny. Our chat is the best. They have all the same thoughts that we do.
Well, I feel like that we're at the now, especially this is a very crucial time where we need to be examples of people in order to unbalance our political system has become and corrupt with the corruption. So, like, I want to find out that list of Congress people who settled all of these so-called harassment or sexual harassment or whatever it is because they want to.
Oh yeah,
slush fund. I want to know how where's that money? Where do you guys get that money from? Is that money coming from USAID too?
No. That's coming out of their own budget. The wild thing is this. You're exactly right. There's money. There's slush funds to pay off congressional malfeasance. They're all part of this. Here's a great example, right? Like in general, I tend to like what Mike Lee has to say out of Utah. I've had Mike Lee's staffers get their feelings hurt because I posted things that were not nice about his Twitter account because whoever runs his Twitter account might be an idiot. Like needs to be found by the retard finder. Have you seen this new account, by the way, the retard finder?
No, I haven't.
My man,
I have to check that out.
I'm so frustrated that I didn't come up with the idea of creating I find retards as a handle on X to go and find retards because it's so easy. And literally this account is going to make a fortune. They're going to make $10,000 or $20,000 a month in impressions by just typing "found one." It's like Jasmine Crockett makes a post, "found one." And it's like, Dan Crenshaw posts something. "I found you, Dan." Like it's gold. It's absolutely gold.
I've actually been debating. See, I got booted off Twitter during COVID in like 2020, so
Gotta come
I
back.
haven't had a Twitter account since then.
Look,
I've been debating lately, like, should I go back? I'm like missing out. Yeah.
all right. Let me give you both sides of it. One, it's still gay and retarded, but it's pretty funny. It's hard to get mad about it.
I actually joined Twitter to follow like sports stuff, to see like sports clips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
that sounds like decidedly non-nerdy.
Then it turned into my feed just became inundated with politics. And that's when I started noticing, like, oh, there's something going on here. So eventually it got to a point when COVID came, I guess I angered the algorithm enough times that it was just like, you're out.
You pissed off the algorithm and now you're out, huh?
Yeah, so now I'm like, maybe I want to go back because, Elon.
No, come back
like
in.
That.
Yeah,
but
you might as well. Look, let's make the general appeal to anybody that's listening. If you're not following on X, if you're hanging out on like True Social or you're watching somewhere else like Gab or whatever the people do, the conversation is on X. The Congress people are on X. The sham influencers that are out there trying to sell government propaganda, they're all on X. If you want to see the game, X is where it's been. The guy who owns X is sitting in the White House sometimes, right? Hanging out with Trump. You want to be part of the conversation, you got to go see where it's at. And then you get like the raw feed of, you can just see exactly how dumb everything is. And it is very dumb. And today is a great example. I got to post a cat chasing a laser pointer because you got two choices, right? You can follow the dot, you can follow the hand. What do you want to do? Most people want to follow the dot.
Yes, I've been debating. I think you've made a compelling argument to maybe join X. So there's one good thing for the evening.
That's it. That's the entirety of it. God, it's so goofy.
And yeah, well, see, that's the thing is, I don't know if, also I wanted to say, this always happens. I call and I'm like, oh, I'm going to say this. And then I always forget.
What were you going to say?
On the phone.
I love that, man.
What I was going to say was, love the behind the scenes video. Kudos to Eric for suggesting it because that, I'm into stuff like that. Like it gives you, like look at how much work goes into what, I have to do. And then it just really looks like me just sitting there, like, talking.
Yeah. Did that open your eyes about something?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, I kind of figured that a lot of people are just like, oh, I got my little webcam here and I'm podcasting now, like, and then when like I see like, oh, you're like, this is how you get this effect and this is how I do this and shuffle this. I'm like, this is what I keep telling my kids. You should learn how to do this stuff.
It is really it's been a completely new skill set, and I spend more time doing it than I like. And even today, I was doing video editing and whatnot, so I spent time. We had an in-person interview, so I actually had a little bit less editing because I do it on the fly. Whatever you're seeing, I'm pushing the buttons. You got to see what those buttons look like. So that's a shameless plug for our locals channel. If you guys want to see the behind-the-scenes stuff and what it looks like, there's a lot of equipment here, right? I mean, this is not like a guy sitting in front of a laptop situation.
Yeah, like I was like, wow, I was like, you got a real like operation, like so like when I listen to like Bongino, I know like he's talking to other people, and I'm like, you're doing all this by yourself, like you're the production team here.
Yeah, don't tell Julie Kelly. Don't tell Julie.
That was good. So I'm like that was really cool, and I just wanted to give Eric a shout out for suggesting it. It's definitely a cool idea.
I think our chat just likes listening to you laugh. If I could just like drop some one-liners, some zingers on you, and just get you just to crack up with me, it just gets everybody going.
Ooh, yeah, it's funny. It's funny that you say that because when I was in grammar school, I was a nervous laugher. So like whenever I had to talk to somebody and I was like nervous about telling them something, this was like I never lie as a kid. I would start like hysterical laughing like right afterwards, and people would just be like disarmed by them. They'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So like it became like a nervous tick.
But now you own it.
Yeah. Now I just own it. You know, like okay, I am. You know, it is what it is.
I don't
old
hate
now,
that.
so like I don't really care.
Yeah, well, that's what it comes down to. I realized that like the older I got, the less I cared, and I may have reached the point where I give 0 Fs at all about most things. I kind of want people to come up and say mean things. I want people to say mean things to me so I can just look at them and be like who the fuck are you? Like, like where did you?
Well, see,
dismissed. Go away. I'm good.
That's what I do all day at work. So like, I'm like used to it. I'm like, it's a stress reliever.
Yeah, it's good. But people don't realize it. Like some of us actually get kind of like a lot of energy out of that. Like I actually get not much energy out of making people feel good. It takes like it drains me. But if people come in and they're crappy, like that actually does charge me up. And I'm like, I'm about to take all your energy. I'm about to just do a negative transference. I'm going to steal a little bit of your soul. And you're going to walk away feeling worse. What's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way. It's like,
that may not be the best way to be, my friend. I'm just going to tell you, that may not be the best way to be as a human being, but I'm owning it. It's how I am. So.
Yeah, see, like I was trying to fight that for so many years because, like, I'm like, you know, like I want to do this for my kids, and I'm like I'm doing this for my kids, and I'm like, this is so draining.
It is draining. It's draining to be nice sometimes, especially when people didn't earn it. This is why I like the retard finder. Look, this is final request for you to join X. If nothing else, it's so you could be part of the retard finder and just see. It's so negative. It's like inherently nasty. It's not going to make you a better person. Let me just make that argument up front. But it's pretty funny. You can profit from other people's misery just a little bit. Sometimes we need that, right?
Well, I feel like it brings people to reality. You know, like, I mean, I think everybody has become so devoid of reality. And, like, you know, there's going to be pain in life. And sometimes things suck. Like, and, like, that whole generation from 2000 on is like, things suck. Like, what do you mean? Like, nothing's supposed to suck for me. Everything's supposed to be great for me.
That's
and
right.
They don't understand. Yeah, they don't understand that. The only young people that understand that are the ones that are, you know, unfortunately, like the ones that are being trafficked and, like, you know, living in poverty in what Trump would call shithole countries. You know, like those are, you know, like, and you know, like I feel like the left uses people's emotions about that in order to co-opt them with everything. And now that people are becoming a little callous to the whole idea when they're actually seeing what the reality is, because people are allowed to display the reality and not be censored or booted off of X, or formerly known as Twitter.
Yep.
So, like, you know, like things are changing, which gives me a little bit of hope, but I'm always a pessimist because, like you, I didn't even think there was going to be an election. And now I'm like, I can't believe all this stuff is happening right now.
It's hard to believe. So, I'll give you a thought after when we drop off the air. We'll open the line up here. I'll give you a thought. So tune in for that in just a second. But I'm going to share with you. It's our own fault, my friend. I'm just going to tell you why in a second here. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm jumping off. Thanks for calling in, and I'm going to give this thought for everybody, and then we'll open the line up here. Okay. So opening up the line. It's available for the next caller. We may bring some Garrett O'Boyle on if he wants to jump in. He's got the link to be able to jump into the back end here, so we do that. Listen, here's the deal, people. This is my take. It's our own fault. We got a little bit complacent. I think I did. I realized this today. I was talking to somebody, doesn't matter who, but someone who you may have heard of. And I'm having this conversation, and suddenly I realized that it's my fault because I've been watching all this energy, and I've been doing the classic mistake of somebody who's sitting on the outside, and I'm watching, and I realized I have mistaken activity for productivity. There's a lot of flurry of executive orders. There's all this stuff going on. And I suddenly thought, oh, yeah. We're winning. We're doing something to win. And I realize now it's just a bunch of stuff that's happening. It doesn't mean we're winning yet. All right, I got a new caller on the line here. Who am I blabbing to?
Hey, what's going on? It's Chaos.
Hey, what are you doing?
Salting a steak.
Salting a steak.
Yeah. So you have the same mentality at the moment. Basically, it's just a gigantic shit show. But at the end of the day, it's still a show.
It is still a show. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
You know, so we get to enjoy what we feel like we're enjoying, but
Right.
It's not quite what we paid for.
I think it is what we paid for. I think that's the worst part of it. The difference is that some people are lying to you about what we're seeing, and that makes it harder to digest. What we're seeing is the game has begun. We're seeing people celebrate like somebody's in the end zone, but we're just watching the coin toss.
You know, that's a very fair perspective.
We're 37 days into 4 years, so that's not very many days into quite a bit longer time. Let's even say we've got less than that. Let's say we got 24 months before the midterms. We still got a little bit of time.
I don't even think we have that. I think we probably have. I think we maybe have 16 months.
Okay, even that 40 days is still a pretty short piece of that.
I feel like we are making. So this is we are recognizing each flip of the coin toss.
Yeah, we are seeing it. There's it's heads, it's tails, it's heads, it's heads. We're seeing it go in the air, and it's not even on the way back down yet. And the reason I say that is because we don't even have the entire cabinet in yet. And historically, at this point, we're not even into March. You wouldn't have the whole cabinet in for anybody. And we're acting like the game is in the third quarter or the fourth quarter. So that's my fault, and maybe your fault too.
It might be my fault. However, I will say I participate as little as possible. So maybe not so much.
It is being sold to you, and that's the thing. Like I said, I got caught into it today. Now, granted, I get up and do this every single morning, but I noticed it does seem like we've spent a lot of time in the last 37 days. We've traveled a lot of distance, or at least we have mentally.
I think you're right on that. And that was one of the beautiful things about this morning's show was patience. Be patient. Just realize that what you have to do for society is the same thing that you should be doing every day, which is checking your mail and answering your phone and going to buy whatever useless widget that you were going to buy tomorrow. And just remember that it means absolutely nothing. Like the little thing that we're seeing in 18 months, 4 years, is probably going to be as significant as it was when you were thinking that it was the most significant thing in the world.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of folks that are spiraling right now. I did a post about this, but so many people are out there looking. It's honestly, it's a form of envy, which is actually really difficult, especially to recognize either in yourself or your friends. But it's a form of envy that just says, I see everyone else looks like they're winning, and Lord, I want that for me too. Right?
On which side of the aisle? Because if it's winning for the right, I feel like there's a lot more of I wouldn't necessarily say that it's not envy.
I think people on the right are feeling this way. But if their pet cause has not yet been picked up, or if the ball hasn't been we're watching, for the sports analogy, we're watching multiple games happening. We're at a multiplex. And so there's the game that's happening in one branch of the federal government. There's a game that's happening in the accountability realm. There's a game that's happening in the media space. There's all these different things that are happening. They can be happening at your local level too, and in your state. And so people are seeing various wins, but maybe not on their pet project, the thing that is most important to them. And I've been seeing this a lot. I have people reach out to me and they're like, how come you don't spend time talking about the thing that I care about most? And I'm like, I don't even know you. That's why, mostly because I don't know you. Like I didn't know you cared, and I didn't even know you. So sorry. We're all kind of hoping that we're going to see the same win, because you look over somewhere else and you're like, oh, those people are being successful in moving the ball for their particular pet project, and we're seeing this thing happening. And yet at the end of the day, are the people that we want to see succeed. Maybe you care really deeply about Jeremy Brown, which I think is a totally reasonable thing to do. I had people that were berating me and sending me these evil messages saying like all kinds of horrible stuff about me because I didn't care about Jeremy Brown enough. It's like, hey man, I don't know Jeremy Brown. I want good things for him too, but I've got other things I'm also focusing on because I just don't know the guy and I don't know enough about his story and I haven't had the opportunity. I'm trying to make sure the FBI doesn't kick down my door. So I'm winning on that front. And in any case, everybody's got kind of their own little thing that they want to see success, and they're judging success based on that. And if they're not seeing the same success they see in everybody else, maybe they're feeling like they're losing right now. But again, we're 37 seconds into the game here. We're 37 days in. We're halfway up the coin toss. So I just want people to remember, you can't change a lot of this stuff. Most people have no ability to affect any of this. They're just spectators that are cheering really, really hard, at a game that they're not playing even.
Well, and I wonder, because in regards to the nuance of that statement, I wonder to what degree those that are plugged in politically, how much of that is actually the everyday man? Because I feel like the people that are rooting for this side are not rooting for this side of this small portion of those that are chronically online, which you're online because this is what you do for a living. Mm-hmm. We're online because we feel like we're, greater as a community. We feel like we're more so trying to move the country into whatever direction we feel is the right way, which honestly equally could be said for the left. Mm-hmm. So opinionatedly, they're wrong. But the core ideals may be right if you were to equate them with, what we're trying to do. But I feel like the everyday man is really like, don't care about any of that. Like, I just want my kid to make the touchdown or make the pass or, get the sack. And that's really what they're focusing on. So I wonder to what degree that perspective can actually be broadened out even more, just to say that, this is what we're seeing on top of where I feel like we're a micro in the macro. That's
true. I think that's very true. Yeah, I think that it's interesting that very small and boisterous. Let's take this down to, let's take it back 30, 40 years ago. And people would say, if you wanted to move the needle, you would call your congressman. You remember that when people thought that was a thing?
Oh, I did that. I did that like 6 months ago, and the voicemail box was full because everybody stopped answering the phone.
Sure. There was a time when you could call your congressperson, and you might have been the only person who did that day. Or maybe there was a couple of calls, and so you had an outsized voice as one person who might have actually cared, because generally speaking, they just meet people at town halls, they kiss the babies, they shake the hands, thanks for what you have to say, doesn't really resonate, thanks for coming out, and they move on. They get one angry, belligerent phone call. They get a handwritten letter that says a really poignant thing, and a staffer has to deal with it and respond. Then suddenly that actually has an outsized voice. So I do think there is a movement that when you're online and interacting in some of these spaces, especially when these people are reading it, even if it's just like their high-level aides or whatever, their social media aides that's dealing with it, I actually do think that there is a movement there, and it has an outsized amount of opinion. We've seen on the back end, this is me and Steve and Garrett and some of the other guys that are kind of like, we're plugged in, but we're certainly not part of the political class because we're just regular people. And we can see that whenever things come to bat, like when the chips come down, they don't come down with us. But what we do see is that the folks that are in the think tanks, that are in the the influence, that are getting named into the administration, they have a very outsized view of what goes on social media. They really care about what their online profile looks like, more than you would think is even reasonable for grown-ups. And these are not young people. These are guys in their 50s and 60s, and they think it matters. So it does matter because they think it matters, only because they have access to all the power and the accountability. But most of them are such cowards, they don't even want to use what they have or any of the influence or the access they have to do anything with it. So it's a really strange thing to watch from the outside, kind of like much closer to the window than most people, I guess. I have a pretty good look in a way that most people do not. And I also have like a tremendous amount of disdain. So I found out today when I was talking to somebody that there's a going rate for the big accounts, the big influencer types that are out there, and like that's a real thing. Like, hey, will you take on this project for us, and will you do will you market your influence? There's an ask of like dollars that changes hands and a period of time that they're going to push it. So a lot of this stuff is not organic. It's not even close. Now, hopefully they actually agree with that opinion, but it's moving people.
Yeah, but to what degree has anything really truly been organic? I mean, you could say I don't know, maybe before the advent of the printing press.
No, you're probably right. It's probably always been fake. That's the thing. I think it was much more difficult to tell. The information moves so quickly now that it's impossible. Yeah.
Well, here's the way that I look at it, right? Because there is a lot of politicking that's going on in the world, and it has been. I was raised. I'm in my 30s. Mm-hmm. From the time that I was 7 years old, I was told that there are systems that exist, and this wasn't even particularly about government. It was about life. There are systems that exist, and if you know how to operate within the system, and if you know how to operate the system, then you can operate between the system. And basically what I took from that was things are going to do the things that they do as a collective, and also the parts are going to do the things that the parts do at a singular level. But if you're going to look at a sprocket and go, okay, well, that's a sprocket, and that sprocket is it does this one thing and it does nothing else. But then you look at the system and you go, oh, that's a bike. Like the bike does this one thing and it does nothing else. Well, you can't say that the bike is not a part of the sprocket and the sprocket is not a part of the bike.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you have this interconnected system. And so when I look at this kind of stuff and I really think about it, I really realize that I don't want to think about it. But I know that there's a connectiveness between different parts of this system that exist.
Yeah, I think the acknowledgement that they're all part of the same system is probably the saddest thing for us all to see, especially when you start seeing some of these people.
I think that's probably the most.
Go ahead.
I think that's probably the most difficult thing to see is that the two things that we see that are connecting that are within our own lives, and the two things that we see that might be tangentially connected based on whatever the initial connection is, doesn't even make up a majority of the system. Doesn't make up a majority of what it is that we're looking at. And I don't fault the government for being the government. I fault the individuals who realized that this was of utmost importance for not just taking a nail and a hammer and just going, no, stop it. No government. No. Big system is bad. This is not what we're going for. We want, there's the interpretations of all the different laws and all the different words. Like
You're just describing the ordinary men, because most people don't. Yeah, exactly. Most people not only can't conceptualize the bigger reason, they don't want to. It takes a lot of work. And it's really difficult to care about so many things. So why would I do that? I would just rather just do what I'm told and take no responsibility. That's the other thing you're asking people to do, is take responsibility both for their actions and for the implications of their actions. People don't want to do that. They'd rather just kind of be a cog in the wheel. I used to joke when I worked for Dell, one of my first jobs out of college, or maybe my third or fourth job. I don't know. It was one of my early jobs back in the day. And people would go, "What do you do?" And I go, "Oh, I'm worker B 7657-Alpha at Dell Incorporated." And they go, "What?" And I go, "Yeah, 765 Alpha. That's my line number." And it was just made up. And because I worked on a floor where there were 300 people doing the exact same thing that I was doing. We were all just sitting there answering phones that came in, and there were phone calls. As long as you were available, there were phone calls coming in through the queue. And people were dialing in, 1-800-DEL. They were pushing a button saying they wanted to have access to the business salespeople. And then they got me. And then we talked about business computers. And I did do it all day long. And, I actually thought that what I did mattered to each individual person. But a lot of people didn't. They were just like, yeah, I'll just lie to them, tell them some nonsense so they get off my phone because I get paid every time. And they had no accountability for that. They didn't care. And I think that's very common. Most people just don't want to be bothered. Why be bothered? It's much harder. So it's not good.
Yeah.
But I think it is common.
Unfortunately, it's a lot more common than I see it all the time in my industry. And this is one of those things that it's one of the things that I hate the most. And I say hate. It's not hate. It's an impassioned feeling of disgust.
Yeah.
It's not actually hate. Because to hate would mean I'd be thinking about it in my off hours. In my off hours, I really don't give a shit. But in the moment, I am impassionately disgusted at the way that some of these systems operate. And I can see the kind of the bigger picture. I hope for the micro, but I expect the macro.
Yeah. But you're also probably pretty used to getting disappointed at this point, I imagine, too.
I mean, I wouldn't say disappointed. I'd say more so I've come to the realization that, we are 40 days into a 4-year plan. And really, to what degree that has an effect on my life is pretty minuscule. Tomorrow, if I get a flat tire, I might spend an hour and a half on the side of the road moving everything out of my trunk space and then trying to get the tire on so that way I could spend another 2 hours trying to get my flat tire replaced. And everything that's going on right now is just going to be something that I'm not thinking about because I'm so pissed at the fact that I got a flat tire.
All right, I'm going to make a recommendation for you. You ready for a book recommendation, even if you just read the end of it?
Sure.
The Lost World by Michael Crichton very acutely deals with this in a fun and enjoyable dinosaur story. So if you want to articulate some of these thoughts in a deeper way or in an Ian Malcolm kind of way, you might enjoy reading that book. And it's something, I have a first edition on my shelf that I read years ago, and I've probably read it a dozen times. And every time I walked away with something, and it's very, very similar to some of the sentiments that you are sharing right now.
First a dish.
I brought on Garrett O'Boyle without telling you. I just snuck him on here.
How are you doing, my friend?
I'm well. What do you think, Cass?
I'm doing all right, Garrett. How are you?
There you go. You got anything for GOB?
Yeah, Garrett. How do you feel being the center of attention for basically the entirety of news media at the moment?
I think it's already kind of faded, but it was interesting. You get Michael Schellenberger's tweet that goes absolutely thermonuclear with like 25 million views. But you know what I learned the most from this? Is that it's impossible to build a strong Twitter following, X, whatever. Because look at Kyle. He's got nearly 200,000 followers, all just built by him, organic. I get a boost from Michael Schellenberger, Elon Musk, and I picked up like 10K. And I'm not even at 50,000 yet, which is just shows you the grind that Kyle has put in, really on behalf of all suspendables everywhere.
Here's the thing that's connected. Here's tying into that topic. The people that are making the big movements on social media are getting paid to do it by the platforms. I've watched people that I know for a fact are getting paid out like in the $8,000 to $10,000 to $12,000 a month range, and they had followings like me. Then they agreed to do X number of posts on X number of topics per day. And suddenly now they have 600,000 or 700,000 because there's a back end kind of push. And as you just said, like most people have no idea that's going on back there, but I'm aware of it now. I don't mind talking about it either. So there's that, which probably makes me PNG.
Anyhow. Yeah, well, and I think the beauty of it is that there's authenticity that I feel is generally universal. I feel like most people can sense it. It's not so much yes, it's an idea, but I think more so it's a state of being. And I think those that are truly authentic tend to gravitate towards to those who are also truly authentic, which is one of the reasons why I watch Kyle every day.
I appreciate that. I feel authentic. Nobody tells me what to think, so there's that. Guaranteed. That would be the number one way for me not to do it. Whenever someone tells me something like, hey, you can't say that, it's like, oh man, I'm about to definitely say that. Because fuck you. Who the hell are you telling me? I had somebody tell me the other day that I was going to get fired for what I had to say, and that's my favorite. That's my favorite claim.
Who's going to fire you, Kyle?
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea who's going to fire me at this point. Even my wife
it's the go get your manager meme, right? Go get your manager, and then you turn around a couple times and go, hey, what can I help you with?
I saw this one. I think I actually played it as a palate cleanse once, but it was like this lady's like, I need to talk to someone who's above you. And she was like, above me. And she was like, yeah, I need to talk to someone above you. And she was like, okay, hold on a minute. Heavenly Father, I'm praying for you to speak to my customer. It's like, yup, that's who's higher than me. You could call my dad, maybe. My dad might be able to talk some sense into me. I had a lady say something like, you got to do this. And I was like, you're not my dad. And she laughed, to her credit, because like that's the only answer. Mm-hmm. If you tell me something and I tell you you're not my dad, we're done here because you're not my dad.
Yep.
who may even be listening to me say that.
The same question that I asked you a couple months ago. In the first 90 days, what do you want to see from Trump?
Oh God, what do you want to see, Garrett?
I don't even know anymore.
I don't either.
They came out firing.
What was my answer last time? Hold on. What was my answer last time?
Your answer was, let me think on it, and I'll ask Steve Friend in the morning.
I did ask Steve Friend, did I not? What did he say?
No, you didn't.
Oh, all right. Let me answer it then. I'll figure it out. I want him to definitively pull the intelligence division from the FBI. Not like, okay, we're thinking about it. Not like we're going to have a briefing on it. We're going to let the intel people come in and try to tell cash and try to weasel their way in. I need Donald Trump as the president to understand that the thing that happened after 9/11 was an existential threat to America and it is metastasized to the point where it is the most dangerous entity in the executive branch, and he has the unilateral ability to fix it. So I need him to understand that. That was what I would like in the first 90 days. It doesn't cost him anything politically. There's no quid pro quo that he has to perform. It's going to upset all the people it's going to upset. It's going to make all the Doge people psyched. It's not going to make America any less safe. He needs to take all of the intel people in all of the actual law enforcement agencies, whether it be ATF, DEA, FBI, DHS, and stuff them all in the DNI so that Tulsi Gabbard can go and be mean to them. That's what I want. That's my definitive answer. It's the only reason why I do this. I mean, that's where it started. And so I'll go back to the root. The root is there's a massive danger to our children and to us, whether we want to be disinterested or otherwise. It affects all of us. It has the potential of bankrupting, making us homeless, or killing any one of us because of the way that it operates. So there. That's what I got.
I think that's probably that's an extremely poignant statement. Holy crap.
He can do it too.
Jesus.
He could do that in a heartbeat. Because look, when Seb Gorka said it to me, I was like, oh shit. Seb is correct. I actually had to, like, it's rare you do a live interview and while someone's talking to you that they actually unveil something that you didn't know or make a connection that you didn't realize before. And you're like walking away going like, oh my, I'm now going to internalize that. I did that when I talked to George Hill for the first time on the podcast, not on the first time that we spoke, but the first time we ever did a podcast. When I interviewed him, he stated that the definition of national security changed after 9/11. Once I had that paradigm in my mind, I was like, got it. That's obviously true because I lived the other end of it. I knew that was true. And I knew what it used to be when I was a kid. And the second thing is when I heard Seb Gorka say that when you take an intelligence agency and you make them able to lock you up and put you in jail and prosecute you, then you are talking about a secret police. It doesn't matter what you call them. That's what they are. And the FBI is currently a secret police. And that can be fixed like in the first 90 days. It could be done. That's the first 100-day goal that Donald Trump should have. He needs to take the teeth out of that animal because it is massively dangerous. And it's another post 9/11. Like I said, it's a 9/11 bad lesson sin, Patriot Act, take your pick of what you want to call it. All of those interactions led to something that, you know, almost fatally wounded my family and Garrett's family and has killed other people and came after people that were good men like Mark Houck. And like, as much as anything else, that's what the Kyle Seraphin Show has been about. It's the reason why we continue to do it, if nothing else, is to stay alive so that we can tell that message. So that's what I want.
Well, I appreciate the answer. Can you do me one favor? I don't know if you'll do it. Last time I asked you for a favor, I didn't get it. But
okay, what was it?
One favor. Can you? Well, I asked for what you wanted in the morning, but you know, the thing that I ask is, will you say that on tomorrow's show?
Yes, definitely.
Because I think that's actually that is actually a very, very, not only is it a poignant answer, I think it's probably something that is missed on a vast majority of the listeners. Not because you don't project the message, because I think hearing that, I hear the message, right? Everything, it's the light bulb moment. I think that you in the morning, having that, it doesn't have to be tomorrow. It could be, you know, whatever day.
I wrote it down. It'll happen.
But I really do. I think that is an absolutely very, very powerful statement. And I think that is it's the light bulb moment for a lot of people. And I think there's a lot of people that don't watch the after show that do watch on a daily basis.
That's totally fair.
Gary,
I think that's true.
I've got one question for you.
Fire away.
One last question. I'm going to hang up after this. One last question.
You're up.
Garrett, you have been an equally important purveyor of truth. What is your advice to those who would like to make a change in their own life in order to better be a beacon of hope? Because I think you do that really well. Just in the day, I've seen 3-4 episodes with you. I think you are a beacon of hope. So what would be your advice to those who want to be a beacon of hope?
Well, that's a very humbling thing to hear. So I appreciate that. And I am going to go to set the stage with... I
bet you're going to quote your favorite novel. Just kidding. I bet you're going to scripture.
Yes. I got to find it here. It's in John.
Garrett quotes scripture to us all day long, just so you know.
But I struggle. I struggle. Kyle knows more than most of my struggle. And it's not easy. But to preface it, in John 12, it's... Oh, wait. Okay, I might be wrong here. Which wouldn't be the first time. Here it is. John 12 in verse 42. It says, "Nevertheless, many even of the authorities believed in him. But for fear of the Pharisees, they did not confess it, so that they would not be put out of the synagogue. For they loved the glory that comes from man more than the glory that comes from God." So, number one, we need to turn to Christ. We need to remember that we have a higher hope, and that hope is in Christ and his finished work. He did it. He did the work. We just need to follow and obey. And that's not always easy. We're all going to fail from time to time. We aren't always going to get it right. But if we follow Christ, the supreme commander, and if we remember that the things of this world are fading away, because I just love this section, because it tells us the pitfall of humans. They love the glory. They knew the truth. They knew the truth. They knew that Christ was the truth, but for fear of being put out of the synagogue. And what's your synagogue? It could be your career. It could be your family. It could be any number of different things. Your love of money or whatever, love of the flesh. It doesn't, whatever your synagogue is. They're so afraid of the truth, and they didn't want to be cast away by men. They love the glory that comes from man, and that's the pitfall. It's that pride, that hubris. Oh, what can someone do for me? How can they uplift me? How can they elevate my position or my rank or my status? Even knowing the truth. They love the glory that comes from man more than the glory that comes from God. And that's number one. That's the pillar. That's the cornerstone for me, is you have to betray the things of the world, because they're going to betray you. And
Guaranteed.
And I don't know if that's an adequate answer. I think it's the ultimate answer. I never set out in my life to be some beacon of hope or truth, or
I thought he said bacon, a beacon of hope.
I do love bacon.
That's what I thought. Bacon. I did think that.
But
well, I'm cutting up the bacon to go with my salted steak. So I mean, that's kind of appropriate.
Yeah, no, I heard that. I could hear it through. It made sense.
But yeah,
I think
go ahead.
It's a fantastic answer. Keep doing what you're doing, gentlemen. You guys do provide ripples through the universe. And if you remember anything about ripples through a lake, eventually they come back, and they come back shaped differently than where they started.
That is very true. It's been a real interesting ride. It continues to be an interesting ride. And I think we're still setting the ripples. But as you said, some of them kind of come back, and they do come back in interesting ways. I appreciate the call. I wrote down my note, so I will deliver the 90-day answer tomorrow in a fully rested format after I sleep. We'll open the line up here, and I'm going to give Garrett a hard time because he's feeling pretty good about himself right now. So I'm going to try to kick him a little bit and make him feel normal.
I don't.
My friends need to be treated roughly occasionally, and I can't have them feeling like nothing but compliments. So, Cass, thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, you guys have a wonderful night.
All right, brother. You too. Thanks.
Speaking of those ripples, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm used to being on with Steve, and we try to get our requisite movie quote in every time.
Okay.
But him saying that just made me think of in Gladiator, where I forget the dude's name, but he says, "What we do in life echoes in eternity."
Echoes in eternity. Yeah. I love Gladiator. Gladiator makes me remember that the only time I really quoted it on a regular basis was when I was sitting on the floor in Biloxi, Mississippi, in a black mold-covered hallway, getting ready to get destroyed at the Combat Control Operator Course, Air Traffic Control School at Keesler Air Force Base. We got a caller on the line, so we're gonna say hello, and you're on with me and with Garrett. Who are we speaking to?
Hey, Kyle. It's Lori. How are you?
Hi, Lori. How are you doing?
I'm good in Idaho, and lots going on. I've been wanting to call you for a while, but the time zone thing has really been a problem. But I wanted to ask you, a few months back, I think it was like October or November, there was a guy who called. His name was Joe, and he was super troubled.
Yes.
And you spent some time talking with him, and I cannot get that whole conversation out of my mind. It comes up all the time in my head. And I was just wondering, without asking any details, did you ever hear from him again? Is he okay? Do you know?
I don't know. And I imagine if he's listening, he could jump into the locals chat and he could share that he's doing okay, which would be great as an update. I was going to ask you, if you're thinking about something that you heard months ago, have you considered drinking?
Get the voices out of my head.
No, I have not.
Well, self-medication is a real thing. People do this. So I don't know. I was just asking. I'm not recommending it. It's certainly not the way that I handle most of my problems, but it is a way that some people handle problems. And,
No, I told Rose, I said, Rose, if you call in, can you please ask how that guy Joe is doing? Because it was
Joe,
really
let us know how you're doing. You got to tell us either in the Rumble chat or you can tell us on the other. Your health and your status have been requested, so please update us. Or post over on locals. You can have a whole post saying, I called in October and November, and Lori, I'm doing okay. That'd be okay too. Or I'm not doing okay. That would also be okay. He was struggling with the marriage.
That would not be okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, I want it to be honest, so he doesn't need to lie to us, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
So I also just wanted to say hi and also say, Garrett, I'm so glad I see you smiling a little bit more. I'm still a little concerned that maybe things are not going to be as wonderful at the FBI as everybody had hoped.
I think it's pretty much a guarantee.
I've tried to keep my expectations relatively low.
Yeah, well, then you're all going to be fine.
We're talking about, we're talking about the snake pit. So, it's very hard to be overly optimistic.
Garrett, hold on, Lori, you said snake pit.
Yeah,
Garrett, did they call, when you were in basic training, did they have a snake pit, which was a bunch of drill instructors who were eating and watching you? And when you walked out of the chow line, you'd have to walk by the snake pit where all the DIs were?
Yeah, they called it something to do with sharks. What'd they call it? Like
a shark tank or something?
Shark tank. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, snake pit, shark tank. Okay. Same idea. When someone says snake pit, I picture a bunch of men who are in their late 20s that are like scaring the shit out of a bunch of teenage boys. And then also me standing there, kind of not sure why they're yelling at me and not sure what I'm supposed to do, but not particularly intimidated. That's what I always picture.
Can I tell you a basic training story real quick?
This is what I needed to get out of him, Lori. So he's going to share with you some basic training wisdom. You ready?
This is one of the things I love about coming on with Kyle sometimes. He pulls some things out that are in the ether, that not a lot of people know.
Okay,
but,
extra points if you can work the term butthole laser into this particular answer.
Ooh.
Even if it's just as an analogy or as a simile, just consider it go.
I will. So when I was, I was 19, 20, something like that, when I'm in basic training at Fort Benning, by the way, make Fort Benning great again is what I say.
Hell yes.
The home of the infantry, the queen of battle, as it were. And they have this thing there. It's called 30th AG. It's like your in-processing unit. I was there for about 2 weeks, and then we finally get to go to our company where, okay, we're going to be there for 16 more and get all of our training, whatever. And day one, they march you out. You got a duffel bag and a rucksack, and you don't know anything about the Army at this point, and off you go. And then they line you up and they have you standing at attention. And it's one of these first, shark encounters or whatever. And all the drill sergeants are walking up and down the formation, just chewing people out. And I'm standing at attention. I'm 6'2", so not the shortest guy. And this guy who ended up becoming my head, I went to his platoon. He became my head drill sergeant. His name was Drill Sergeant Pulling. I found out later that he was a Golden Glove boxing champion in the Army. I didn't know this at the time. But the guy came up to like the suspendables S on my chest, if you're watching, at most. And according to him, and I won't deny it, I don't know if it's true or not, but he said that I was not standing at attention correctly because I was like looking with my eyes. And so he comes out, he's got this big wad of Copenhagen like in his front teeth. And what was the term you wanted me to use again there, Kyle?
Butthole laser.
Butthole laser. He walks up to me and he says,
"This is not going to be easy."
He says, "Private, you motherfucker, looking out your side of your eyes." And he's cussing me up and down. He says, "I'm going to take a butthole laser and I'm going to shove it up your own ass."
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't really say that, but he said, "I'm going to skull fuck you." And
standard.
and make you wish you were never here. And I'm like standing there. I'm like, this guy really is going to skull fuck me.
It's possible.
That's
I don't even
horrible.
know.
That's the best part of basic.
Yes, the indoc, the indoctrination.
Obscured threats.
Mm-hmm. I remember that so vividly.
That's horrible.
I remember
we had a guy come up and he screamed at the guy next to me when we got off the bus, and he said, "When you stand at attention, you don't fucking move." And the kid was moving, obviously, and he was like, "I don't care if a pterodactyl comes and shits on your shoulder, you don't fucking move," or whatever. And so I had been warned about the Lackland pterodactyl, which is Lackland's where basic training is for the Air Force, and so I was like, "Oh, there's the pterodactyl," and I had it in my head. I was like, interesting. I was having like an academic remembrance, and this kid was like defecating in his shorts. Amazing stuff.
Were they Ranger panties?
He was terrified. No, there was no Ranger panties yet. He was terrified that there was going to be a pterodactyl potentially shitting on him, despite the fact that it was already extinct. And You know, these are the things you remember.
Where do they come up with this stuff, though?
Oh, but listen, if you are cadre for a difficult military selection, or if you are a training instructor or a DI or whatever, you're basically a stand-up comic with a incredibly nervous, silent audience that you can punish for laughing, which gives you even more incentive to make them laugh. It's like there is no humor like weird drill instructor / cadre humor. Nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
Yeah, what Garrett just said, that like skull, you know, whatever, but that's a horrible thing to say to a person.
It is. That's why they said it, though. Obviously.
And that's lighthearted fare in the infantry.
Correct.
I learned an entirely new vocabulary when I went there.
It is lighthearted. It is.
Well, do you wish you could forget it?
No. I would far rather forget the last 29 months of my life than those 6 years.
Yeah.
You've learned a lot in the last 29 months too. You just don't. You haven't gotten into a place where you can look back and appreciate it in the same way. Yes. I guarantee you, 19-year-old Garrett O'Boyle was also not feeling like that much love for getting yelled at like that.
No. I remember
felt
many
singled
times
out and hurt.
thinking, why did I do this?
And who are these assholes? Why do they keep yelling at me?
I am advocating for Idaho. It's an amazing place, really beautiful.
What are the property taxes like, Lori? What's it looking like for property taxes?
Cheap. Well, keep in mind, you know where I came from.
Yeah, you came from you came from Soviet Russia, so anything less than an 80% tax on all the things is cheap to you.
Air, like you can't even breathe for less than 30% tax.
That's right.
But here,
they're taxing your neighbors. You're taxing you for your neighbor's rainwater collecting. That's what's going on. Man,
so,
New Jersey,
okay,
I hate you.
I'm actually moving again, but I'm only moving 5 blocks away because this house is a money pit. So
Did you buy this house that is the money pit?
House. Yeah, I did. Yeah. So it's going back on the market, but I'm closing on a new house on next week sometime, the 5th.
Okay.
Whatever that is.
Sort of like, I'm sorry and congratulations at the same time.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Both. Thank you for both. Thanks.
Yes.
But the house that I'm moving to is like 1,100 square feet. It's got a really big yard. So it's only 2 bedrooms because it's just me. But it's the property tax is like $1,200 a year.
Mm.
Now
you're still renting your property from the government. Let's be real.
My 850 square foot condo back east, my property taxes were $7,000 a year.
Right. But at least you didn't get anything for that $7,000. You got crime.
I had a view, and I had an opportunity to help the illegal alien use his debit card in the ATM machine.
Yeah, I remember. That was good. Outstanding. All right.
But, you know,
your spirits sound good. I feel like Idaho is working well for you.
It's really pretty here. Like like I said, the people are nice. You know, I just wish I was just sitting in the house sometimes at night going, I really hate this house. And that's kind of a bummer. Like if I wanted to be outside more than I wanted to be inside, but I didn't want to be homeless. So like, it wasn't much of a choice, but
it's quite the quandary.
Move. So that's what I'm doing.
Good for you. Improving your position.
You guys,
that's what we believe in here.
You guys should seriously consider Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, highly recommended. But then again, you already know the area, so.
I think I'm going to talk Garrett into Idaho. It's just going to take a little bit. We're going to go take over some town.
Yeah.
I'd do it. I saw my friends at Old State Saloon posted another clip of me today or yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
And every time they do it, I think I gotta move there. I loved it there.
Well, and also Joe. So Joe is a county commissioner now, and
I met him. I met Joe when I was there. He flew down. Yeah. Yeah,
and he told me, and he's really loving that job, and it's so perfect for him. It's like the perfect role for him.
Yeah, but he's decidedly anal retentive and focused on solving problems. Is perfect.
Well, naval pilot plus what? But like, what was he like?
No. He's got the pedigree for it. It's. I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that like, really surgeons are anal retentive, and you really want that. You want that in your pilot. I felt very comfortable knowing that the pilot was like neurotically attentive to detail. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, you made a pretty good pilot for like 5 minutes. It was okay. I didn't feel totally terrified.
I'm pretty much like I'm like 3 for 3 in piloting aircrafts and doing a great job. So yeah, it's no surprise to me.
I didn't feel like jumping out. But listen, so Joe's he's trying to get legislation through on, well, 2 things. But one thing for Nez Perce County is homestead tax exemption. I'm sure it's online somewhere, or he can send it to you if you're interested. But it's actually a really pretty brilliantly constructed piece of legislation. So I'm hoping that works out. So
well, hopefully he creates a piece of legislation that says something to the effect of that you guys want a sheriff at large for the whole state, and then I'm willing to come and run for that, and maybe Garrett will come and run with me, or he could be my number 2, or I could be his number 2. I don't care. Like, let's go take over law enforcement in Idaho. We could do some good things there.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, if you guys, I don't know, I think we really need to get your security clearances back.
Nah, I don't want that.
And Garrett, if they ask you to come back, say, listen, I just want my money. I want my security clearance, and I'm out. And then just come
and
here.
And a G5.
And run Idaho.
A G5 airplane.
Yeah, I don't think I'm interested.
Oh, yeah. Okay. One of those too.
Yeah.
Go on a plane.
Oh, I'll go on a plane. I like going on planes.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in going back to the FBI or anything like that.
I'd rather get zapped with a butthole laser.
Yes.
Which actually doesn't sound like the worst thing I've ever heard, honest to God.
No.
Of all the things that are out there, I can think of way worse things than a butthole laser.
I've been through worse.
Yeah.
I had a homeless guy throwing poop at me once. So
yeah, I've probably been through worse like in the last month. If we're being honest, like in the last 30 days, I probably have had a worse experience than that. So.
Oh, you've been pooped on a million times.
I had an old lady die and poop on me at the same time. She died and pooped on me, and that is very inconsiderate.
Oh, no. No.
It was a death scat.
No,
it was
sorry,
not a... Yeah, like a deer, but like it was actually an old lady who was in her 80s.
Is the skull thing that Garrett said before. That's a way worse imagery than somebody pooping on you.
Yeah.
It
just depends. Yeah.
That's just pretty awful. It's funny when just quick story, and I'll let you guys go. But when I first became a reporter, and they put me on Cops and Courts, and these cops, it was in Jersey City, and these cops had a field day. They called in over the scanner back then. They called in that there was, a DOA, and in this body in this house. Basically, it was a 3rd floor walk up. It was in the middle of summer, and they were like, "Hey, it's a murder scene, blah blah. We'll let you go in." And I was like, "That's crazy. They never do that." But okay, I walk up 2 flights, and all of a sudden that smell hits me in the face like a punch, and it turns out it was like this 80-something-year-old lady who died natural causes in the heat, and she had been there probably like 2 weeks.
Oh, that's a dirty decomp right there. Yeah,
she was practically liquefied. So.
There's nothing that compares to how nauseating that is. So
I will never, ever, ever, never. And it's so weird. There's like a primal thing where as soon as you smell death, you know what it is.
You always know.
You don't have to see it. I mean, it was bizarre. It was absolutely bizarre. I know you guys have seen 1,000 times worse, but that was like the worst.
No, that's pretty bad.
Like
2 week decomp in the summer in a closed room. That's pretty awful.
No thanks. Yeah.
And
that's when you get the.
I ran down the stairs right after. Ran down the stairs and around the corner and threw up in a garbage can because I didn't want them to see me throw up.
Well, good on you for knowing that you're not supposed to throw up in the area. But the smart move is just to carry a respirator with you and then pop that sucker on. And then it's still pretty awful, but at least it's tolerable.
But who knew? I mean,
a lot of people did. To be fair, a lot of people knew. That's why they called you to it. They got you good. What a sick profession, Garrett.
Yes.
Leos and medics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that to anybody, to a reporter?
No. Garrett would never.
Well,
Never.
I'm really glad I got to catch up with you, and I miss. It's hard to catch the mornings because I'm still working East Coast time, and so
You're
and
missed.
Plus the 3-hour thing. The 3-hour thing really messed me up. I can't believe it.
Yeah, well, there's no easy way to solve the problem other than you just have to catch us on Spotify. Make sure you're following over there.
Well, it's not the same, but discipline. It's just discipline, and I'll get there eventually.
All right.
It'll take some time. But Garrett, it's good to see you smiling at least, more often. And as always, I wish you the best. And Kyle, you're always right, and I love you. And keep up the good work.
It's all true, and all of that is true.
Don't pump his ego too much.
It's the normal amount of ego. There it is. Michelle says she misses you and wants to give you your best. So thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, we'll see you later. Take care.
All right, we'll talk to you next time.
Too. Yep.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye, Lori. All right, the call is off, and that means that it's open. And Garrett, how you doing, buddy? You doing okay? You a little disappointed today?
Oh, not any less than any other day.
That's not true. Some days are worse than others.
Yeah, that's fair.
How about all of your lumps? Have they all been removed and healed up?
Well, yeah, the ones they took out. I don't know if you can see any of those. No,
Bro, I just remember thinking how many lumpy things you had going on in your bicep tattoos.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, you're like a dog that's too old, and you
They
got
got
all
those
lumps.
ones out, which is good. Of course,
Yeah.
They claim they don't know what they're from. I blame the burn pits, but
Dude, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that was definitely like that and like some sort of experimental vaccine garbage.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Oh man, if I knew then what I know now,
You would have been logging all that stuff in. All right, we got another call coming in. Are you ready? Take a deep breath.
I'm ready. The
All
8
right,
rounds
cool.
of vaccine
All right.
of anthrax vax was really
8 rounds of anthrax vaccine. Caller, you're on the line. Do you have any anthrax vaccine for Garrett?
First time caller.
I have.
Oh, I know this
What is
voice.
happening?
I know this voice. I know who this is. This is
Hey,
at
man.
Joe Doe on X.
Yes, is that person also whatever 007? Also, Mark, your friend. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Mark is kind of schizophrenic
I'm
with his handles. He's like he's running like an info op and trying to see different thoughts.
Dude,
I love Mark.
I've
I
tried to
really,
explain this so
I
many
have
times.
some internal information from Mark that I'm really tempted to share right now, but I won't.
What
He
is
asked
it?
me not. He asked me not to
Do
share
it.
it, so I won't.
Do it.
What is
no,
it?
no, it's fine. It's safe now. Do it.
Okay, good. I don't know I don't know what we're about to get, but I'm excited about it.
As
Go.
Lori was pumping your ego up. Well, Mark contacted me and said,
Yes, sir.
I gotta say, Garrett, AMRAD has been better than TKSS of late. And I said, let's go.
Oh. And looks like
Good. Now Kyle's gonna hang up on me.
No. It looks like we lost Garrett. He's off the line. He's been deleted.
I thought I'd get the boot.
No, it's easier to delete Garrett. Actually, I can throw the scene away. Super easy.
I'm used to getting deleted.
Deleted. Canceled.
That's awesome.
What's going on with you today, Mark? What do you think? Are we winning?
Man.
Are we being conned? What the hell's happening out there? Do you miss Jim Comey?
I think well, fuck Jim Comey.
How dare you? How dare you? He's an American hero. Just ask him.
Yes, he's a patriot.
Listen, I think he should get fucked right in his honey pot, if I can say so.
Dang. With a
I got
butthole laser.
With that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, yeah, no, he does not deserve the laser. He deserves the full-on, like, BBC, strap-on of justice.
Yikes.
But that's just my take.
The DOJ, the Dong of Justice.
He deserves the giant eggplant emoji that I was talking about the other day.
Yeah, that fucking, like, smug bastard, he deserves everything he gets and more. That's how I feel about that beautiful, tall monstrosity.
Middle finger. He really does. If you stand him up next to like normal people and you put them all around him, he's got about a foot on everybody. So he looks like this. He looks exactly like a middle finger. Just everybody else is like beep, 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 beep. And then there's Jim right there in the middle, flicking off America.
Well, and he was dumb enough to think that like that height differential like justifies his perspective that like he's taller, therefore he's better.
Right, but what he doesn't realize is that he is like shoulder level for a dick punch. Oh, sour.
Oh, like that one meme, the guy who's like, "I'll shoot you in the dick. I'll shoot you in the dick." That's what should happen to him. Yeah.
I would just straight jab.
Did y'all see that video?
No,
I did. Yeah, I saw it.
I've been listening to the one who's like, "What's your name? What's your name? Tony. What's your name? Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Tony.
But speaking.
Fuck you, Ezekiel. Don't bring my mother into this. That one? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, not that well. I don't know. Garrett, you got it?
I don't have that one.
I can probably find it. Here, you know what? I'm gonna put Garrett on the line. I'm gonna put him up there, and then Garrett, you talk, and I'll go find the Tony video. It's gonna happen.
All
Keep
right.
going. All right, talk to Mark.
Fire away, Mark 007, Jodo, whatever.
Oh man. Hey, G-Dog. I'm gonna call you G-Dog. I just made
That's
that up.
fine.
You can
That's
call
a
me Mark.
common one for me.
No, so as we wait for Kyle to find the video, the one thing I was curious your thoughts on is this sort of like the Epstein list is as just a manifestation of a broader problem where it seems like the Southern District of New York, FBI, whatever the hell, division is withholding part of the list. Like this differential.
What'd you say? Sorry, I missed the last part.
No, I was trying to get your thoughts on the distinction or what's going on with the FBI, whereas like they're releasing part of the Epstein list, but not the entire list, and this sort of like seemingly civil war thing going on.
Yeah.
Where do you see that going? Like, is that real? Would you guys have imagined or predicted that? Like, where I guess it was the Southern District of New York that was the source of the problem, or withholding the full list? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not even just the Southern District of New York. The New York FBI, I think, is fully involved there. That's where the case was run out of. So I think it's an internal intel war, and it's certainly, which I think we could speak to this the best, is from the FBI side of things. It's a power struggle. We told Cash heading into his position, there's going to be vipers around every corner. And this is maybe, it's at least the second manifestation of that. I think the first was the pushback. I guess Cash wasn't confirmed yet, but it was the pushback on the DOJ request for the J6 information. That was the first viper, the first big one that we know of. And the second one is this that we saw today. And I don't doubt that there are high-ranking officials in the New York field office who are probably directly involved with this type of coup. It's a coup right off the bat. That's what this is.
Okay,
but so we finally actually have a true constitutional
an actual constitutional crisis.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, here, this is for you, Mark. Ready?
Yeah,
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony! Fuck you, Tony! What's your name? Ezekiel! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you! Fuck you! Hey, you know what I did last night? You better not bring my mother into this! You know what I did? You better not! I broke that fly over there! Oh! And I fucked your mother next to it! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you!
Oh, that's good.
Oh my god.
There's something wrong with us, but
hey, it's Thursday night.
No, I mean, we're sane. Yeah. Sorry.
Are you good? Because I can play it again if you need it. I got
I'm
you.
Not good. No, please don't. I'll lose my shit.
Okay.
What's your name?
Are you guys? I'm about to give up on trying to make sense. Are you surprised,
Tony?
that they are this sort of fuck?
No. Short answer, no, I'm not surprised.
This is what happens when you walk into the courtyard. If you walk into the courtyard of the Hoover building, you see somebody across the way you don't recognize.
What's
You're
your
like,
name? What? What is your name? Tony! Fuck you, Tony!
What does number 2 work for?
look, I pulled that down on the fly. I want to throw that out there, and I created a scene on the fly to be able to put all of us on there. Can I say that real quick? Like that just happened.
I'm not going to act like I'm not impressed.
You should be impressed.
Kyle's a pro. But actually, wait a second. I gotta rephrase that. Kyle still works for the FBI, and they paid for his studio setup.
Right,
They paid to
right.
train him how to do all this stuff.
Right.
And he's not out there on his own flapping in the wind. He certainly didn't need me to come help him move. A year and a half ago?
2 years ago. Yeah, 2 and chain.
Damn. But
everyone knows that. Everyone knows that.
What?
Oh man.
Some problems.
All right. Any thoughts or plans I had on what I wanted to talk about or ask you guys about? I've got nothing now.
Now I'm gonna have to play the video tomorrow. I'm gonna have to play the video. I'm gonna play that again tomorrow in the morning because now I've got it grabbed. I might as well use it.
I'm a big fan of Andrew Klavan. I don't know if you guys are.
I love Andrew Klavan.
Not so the whole Trump winning video, he was joking about like not going to play it ever. He's like going to retire it. He's played it enough times, and then he plays it again. That's what I feel like this video could be for you.
Do I know?
Yeah, I don't think I can play the. There's too many profanities in general for me to. There's no redeeming message, but whenever you see Andrew Klavan and you want to harass him, tell him that I want to hang out with him because I think Andrew Klavan's like the only guy that I see in the podcast space I want to kick it with because he just seems fascinating.
I don't know if I know him. Do I know
he's
this
awesome.
guy?
Yeah, Andrew Klavan. Yeah, Lord Protector of the Universe.
Not ringing any bells. That being said, my brain function has decreased at least 20% in the last 29 months, so I could be that.
Yeah.
But older dude, he's a Daily Wire. He's got a Friday show he puts out. He's got a Substack, something like that, what he does with his son, who actually is gay, but he's like super normal, conservative for a gay guy.
Some gay guys are conservative and normal. Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Mark, Max, let me know that we know that I'm still in the FBI because they sent an actual FBI agent employee, Garrett O'Boyle, to help me move.
Yes.
That's a dirty trick. That is dirty. It's very
so
sneaky.
who's playing who here?
Right? Garrett, what'd you send me? Anything I need to look at?
It's the shoot you in the dick video.
All right, I can make that happen. Look, this is no big deal.
Oh, perfect.
Is it a vertical? Oh, even easier.
Good.
Yeah. All right, should we put it on?
Yes.
Do it.
Okay. Okay, so you guys could probably hear that, but the audience couldn't yet. So we'll just add it real quick. You ready? Here we go. And kaboom.
In a defensive scenario, you never want to go for the face. You always want to go center mass. Or, my personal favorite, the dick. If you make the mistake of trying to rob me, oh, you freaking dumbass. Guess what? You're getting a shot towards the dick. Reason being, the pelvis actually holds up the whole entire body. If you take that out, they are now immobile. And you get to shoot them in the dick more. Body armor? No problem. Shoot them in the dick.
That's
Someone's
all true.
taller than you? No problem. Shoot them in the dick. Moral of the story, I'm probably going to shoot you in the dick. In a defensive scenario, you never want to go for the face. You always want to go center mass. Or, my personal favorite.
There you go. Shoot him in the dick. I don't disagree with that. That actually that's good science. I taught my wife that too.
Yeah, it's just science.
You just take out the it's a structural requirement to be able to have a functional pelvis. So pelvic shots they're a real thing, and they don't move very fast either.
Even if they survive, they're like, why do I want to live? I give up.
Yeah, they're not going to want to fight you the same way. That's for sure.
Yeah. So
factually accurate. All right. Have you been appropriately demoralized?
Demoralized? I'm fully no. The opposite.
You're fully animated. You're ready to go out and conquer something.
Yes.
I'm just pleased. I love talking to you guys. You guys are my favorite, and I'm honored. So thank you.
Well, we had fun. I think we had fun. Do we have fun, Garrett?
We did. We filled up a cup tonight. I like filling people's cups up because my cup is perpetually empty or maybe a couple drift in the bottom.
Such a fucking Eeyore right now.
Seriously, holy shit! I was happy now.
My cup is empty.
No,
I don't have anything in my cup.
But I can laugh about it. Oh, I did
I'm
basketball
just gonna
practice.
laugh, but it's still gonna be my own tears. It might be my birthday, but it's the worst birthday I've ever had.
Oh, that'll be next year. This year's 39. Next year will be the worst.
Next year's gonna be awesome, dude. I don't even know what's coming, but it's gonna be good. We're gonna kidnap you.
Hey,
We're going to take you out on a boat. Yep. What do you got? You want to be part of this?
Well, keep me honest. Well,
Mark, you going to help me kidnap Garrett? I might need you. You're bigger.
Yeah, we need extra hands.
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
I got you. But confirm this for GOB. I was trying to tell him this on the side. I think it's like 42, but that's when shit starts going south physically. Like your eyes, your sort of like endurance, all that stuff.
Yeah. No, I felt unacceptably cocky at 40. I felt like I was like, this isn't that big of a deal. You guys are all full of shit. And then at like 43, I wake up and I'm like, my back hurts, and I didn't even do anything yesterday. Like, what? I must have slept wrong. How did I sleep wrong? I stretched my arm out, and I wake up and I'm like, this doesn't work anymore. That's not right. I'm gonna have to go do something about that. Now I just try to hang myself. I have these hanging upside down boots. I have the gravity boots, and I just hang upside down on my Rogue rack. And I just pick up weights, which is probably not advised. I pick up like 15 pounds in each hand, and I just see if I can stretch my spine properly.
I like that idea.
No,
dude,
smart.
it's so good.
I need to do that.
Good. Hanging upside down with weights in your hands, and then you hold them to your chest until you just basically black out. But luckily, you'll just wake up because you'll drop the weights, and then you'll be aware of what's happening around you. It's awesome.
And no matter what happens, the blood goes back to your head, so you're good.
Yeah. Mark, do you have a van? Do you have access to a van? We'll take the seats out of my minivan. No big deal. No, we'll take the seats out of the minivan.
I'll get it. Yeah.
We'll go Will Ferrell with the sliding doors.
Yeah. You're my boy, Blue.
Oh, Metallica song. Metallica song plays in my head.
That's how it's going. It's going to get aggressive.
Old school for you people who don't know.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, Garrett's got a few. He's got basically like 16 months to prep himself before it gets real.
Come and take me. Take me now.
I'm going to tase you. So that's all right.
Oh, I don't want to get tased again.
In the dick. I would tase you. I would straight up tase you and not tell you it was coming. I would definitely do that.
Just don't let my head hit the concrete.
No, that's right.
No, that melon is too pretty.
Hopefully it lands on the beard. Cushions the blow.
Soft.
All right. Mark, you're getting kicked off the phone. You're off the phone. You're making. Yeah, man. You've lost me. I've lost myself here. I'm going to climb out of the weeds. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
I wish I had it pulled up. Thanks, Mark. Nice chatting with you, man.
All right, there we go. All right, Mark got the boot. He got the boot because he was distracting me too much. Should we do the shot in the dick thing again? What was that all about?
In a defensive scenario, you never want to go for the face. You always want to go center mass. Or, my personal favorite, the dick. If you make the mistake of trying to rob me, oh, you freaking dumbass. Guess what? You're getting a shot towards the dick. Reason being, the pelvis actually holds up the whole entire body. If you take that out, they are now immobile. And you get to shoot them in the dick more. Body armor? No problem. Shoot them in the dick. Someone's taller than you? No problem. Shoot them in the dick. Moral of the story, I'm probably going to shoot you in the dick.
That is the moral of the story. I don't like that I have it looped. I need to fix the looping problem.
I like the loop.
Do you? You like that it goes back? It feels like you're on Twitter.
Yeah. Man. Kyle, how easy can you pull up a YouTube video if I text it to you?
You can text it to me. I can rip it down. I'm a professional.
Just go 15 seconds in.
What?
I just texted it to you. Just jump to 15 seconds in. Okay. We got to get this on a loop. When you want to kick people off the phone.
All right.
Have you seen
I should be watching for the phone. Okay, so I'm watching for the phone. All right, so the phone line's open if you guys want to call in, and while we're sitting here like tards, I will
Where's that Twitter account? We need that iRetards or whatever. What is it? I find retards.
I find retards. It's brilliant. I'm gonna rip the piece here, so we'll find it. The retard finder is always working. You never know. Speaking of retards, I had a guy that follows me on Twitter that I talked to a few times. His name is Crypto Lawyers, and Crypto. Yeah, Crypto. He was like, "Hey, bring me up. I want to be part of the program." And I was like, "Here's the link. Come on." And then he didn't show up. And I don't know, like, who does that? What kind of guy does that? You know?
Not a cool guy. Not a good guy.
What do you think? You think his real name is probably Tony?
Probably about right.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony. What's your name? Ezekiel. Fuck you, Ezekiel. Fuck you. Fuck you. Hey, you know what I did last night? You better not break my mother into this. You know
Don't do it.
You better not. I broke that fly over there. Oh. And I found your mother next to it. Fuck you, Ezekiel. Fuck you.
It's dumb. It's real dumb. All right, I think the file is ripped. All right, so what am I doing? I'm bringing on the file here. You're putting me to work here, GLB.
Sorry, that's what you get, man. You got me, who is a tard, a literal tard, especially when it comes to all the mechanisms you have at play here. And yeah.
What do you want me to do? You want me to start 15 seconds in?
15 seconds in.
All right, here you go. This is Garrett O'Boyle's choice for you. Happy birthday, Garrett.
Do you need help getting off the phone? You on the phone again, bitch? You better hang that thing up before I bash your head in.
My God, Paul, what are you doing?
That's funny.
You didn't want to get off the phone?
Yes, I did, but why would you say a thing like that?
Gee, I'm sorry, honey. I guess I blanked. That's all I came up with.
I better call her back. I can't imagine what she must be thinking.
That's enough, probably.
Yeah, so then what happened? You don't say.
Is he going to do it again?
I don't know. I don't know what he does this time.
You've never watched it that far?
No.
I am Skeletor, spawn of the Hell Beast. Hang up that phone and pay homage to my awesome red power.
What the hell did you send me?
This is how you get people off the phone, Kyle. Didn't you know?
I've never done that. No, I would just go hang up. That was the old days where you could just go up and just do the click.
Click.
And then it would just go boop on the other end. All right. That's all there is. We could wait for another call if you want to take one more. You want to take one more? Somebody said Gator don't play no shit.
Gator don't play no shit. That's true.
That's a fact. Everybody knows.
Yeah,
this.
I could take another call if you got somebody.
Why I'm playing all this stuff. Let me look over here on the live chat and see if we've missed anything that needs to be on. Any of you guys share some information that we were there it is. Now you can read it too, Garrett. See, I can throw it on the screen for you.
I like it.
What do you think about that?
Your skills far surpass that of Skeletor's.
Skeletor, man. Did you dish the info on Mark? That was the inside scoop that he was gonna say we could share, or no?
Mark.
Oh yeah, no. You made some lie up about TKSS and AMRAD. I heard that.
Oh yeah.
That was like trolling.
I would never lie, Kyle.
That was
never
pretty trolly. Hey, let me ask you something. When are you going to go back to the FBI, Garrett?
Oh, not planning on it.
How many times a day do you get that question at this point?
Too many. I don't know what's worse, Kyle. The congratulations.
That's my favorite, actually. And I'm like, oh, for what?
Yeah. What did I do? You know,
what are we getting congratulated on?
I didn't get hired to be the FBI director, or to come back as a special advisor, or to be the deputy director, or to even just be in HR where I can help with clearance issues. So what? Did I graduate med school? Didn't think so. But yeah, I don't know if it's the congratulations or the so when are you going back?
I like that one.
Do I want to go back? I don't think that I want to go back. So I don't know.
What are we going to do with you? We got to find something else for you to do.
Yeah, we do. Well, I would say some type of, I don't like this word, but some type of ministry. But then all I got to do is pull up some of my TKSS clips, and you'll find me dropping F-bombs, like talking about getting skull fucked. So
they'll be like, oh my God, this guy.
He's evil. He's the spawn of Satan.
He's probably hanging out with Skeletor.
So yeah, I don't know. Who knows, man? I don't know.
All right. Well, I did want to play one more thing before we disappeared out of here, because I just felt like it was it's just what's in my heart. And I played a little bit of it today, but not all of it. So I'm going to give an opportunity for one more phone call if people are so inclined. But more importantly, I want to talk about race, which is I think it's probably the most important thing I know about you. Right? I actually did I tell you this? I actually got a survey from the Wharton School of Business Podcast Analytics Department.
Oh, well, thank you, Wharton School.
And they asked me some very important things if I could fill out a survey about the guests that they'd identified on my podcast. And they wanted to know, what industry did the guest come from? And what was their race? And what was their gender? And then at the end of it, they recommended to me that they could get me more women, more black, more ethnically diverse guests if I'm so inclined. And I could increase my reach based on immutable characteristics in that. No, I'm not even exaggerating. That happened.
Who pays their bills? Because
I'm going to show you. This is one of their big donors.
The race lady. Why would they call me that? Is this really about me fixating on race, or is it about you fixating on race?
But Donald Trump wants to never let black and brown folk up off the mat. It's evident what they mean by DEI, right? Why not just say what you mean? You can't stand black people. We get it. You've been heard.
Are you committed to naming a black woman as your vice presidential running mate?
They wanted to go after the brown people, too, because, of course, that is their other target.
You feel joy? Say joy.
It's not fashionable to be openly racist anymore in America, unlike what they call the good old days.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony.
Joy.
Fuck you, Tony.
What? Fuck you, Joy.
That's it. Anyway, yeah, Joy. She's terrible. Well, that's going to be it for tonight then. We should do that. You and I will commiserate in a minute.
Fair.
Yeah. Fair. Folks, thanks for joining us tonight. If you joined us, we try to have a little bit of fun. And thanks, Garrett, for jumping on with me and chatting with people. Thanks, Mark, for calling in, and Lori and Cass. And I think that's who we had come in. I might have missed one now.
We
Renzo.
had the
Renzo.
guy who asked you about what to say something tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I've got that. And Renzo. So that was our calls. Thanks for being part of the program. Thanks for being part of our subscriber base here. This is kind of fun for us. Like I said, this is much more chill than the normal thing. A lot less prep involved, but I will play you my cool guy outro. What is it called? Outro. And God bless you. We'll see you guys in the morning, and we'll make it happen then. Ready? 3, 2, 1, we're out.
Thanks for listening to The Kyle Seraphin Show, streamed live weekdays on rumble.com/Kyle Seraphin. Follow Kyle on Twitter, Truth Social, and Instagram at Kyle Seraphin.